I love Jon Watts' Spider-Man No Way Home, and I saw it 5 times in theaters. It holds a very special place in my heart because seeing all 3 Spider-Mans on the big screen again will forever be a highlight in my history of cinematic experiences. But that doesn't mean I don't think these films are flawless, and I could probably do a dedicated video just on the mostly terrible blocking and cinematography, but there's something that bothers me even more than shots like this. It's the editing.
Some neat trick. That sense of yours.
Norman?
Norman's on sabbatical, honey.
The hell?
That cut. That right there. I hate it. This is Willem Dafoe. Sorry, let me repeat that. This is Willem freaking Dafoe. The Willem Dafoe that gave us performances like this.
Power beyond your wildest dreams, and it's only the beginning.
And right as he's about to give another glorious performance as a universally beloved villain, Jon Watts cuts away from Willem Dafoe. Just look how many cuts are in this scene.
Just because you're blind to what true power can bring you.
You don't know me.
Don't I? I saw how she trapped you, fighting her holy moral mission. We don't need you to save us.
I can't even track these cuts anymore, it's driving me so crazy.
The hell?
I've been trying to understand why he does this, and I think I figured it out, at least in this specific scene. There's just too much plot. In order to understand, we have to rewind a little bit. Peter has brought all these villains back to Happy's apartment so he can use Stark's fabricator to engineer cures for them and send them back to their respective universes, yada yada yada, happy ending, whatever. But this setup presents issues, because when Norman turns into Green Goblin, we know his cure serum and all the other cure serums are in the adjacent room, and later we see Aunt May inject that serum into Goblin, and then we also need those serums later on for the big finale. All the while, Goblin is giving this epic monologue.
The hell?
So a scene that could have been a gut punch to Peter and a moment that could have gone down in history as probably the last iconic monologue from Willem Dafoe in a Spider-Man movie is completely ruined by a montage of Aunt May putting glass tubes in a grocery bag. I don't really care so much about the plot issues here, but more how the plot is presented. We would have been fine with one quick shot of Aunt May grabbing the cures, and that's all the audience needed to follow along. What bothers me here is that we're not seeing Willem Dafoe deliver his performance. Take this scene from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1. This is a similar moment to No Way Home with Norman transitioning into Goblin, but watch how this scene is cut.
What do you want?
To say what you won't, to do what you can't, to remove those in your way.
Did you notice how there's no cuts at all? That's because Sam Raimi knows how to hold the frame. We're not cross-cutting for plot, there's no angle jumps, extra fills, or expository shots happening in tandem. It's just pure performance and it is glorious.
Bingo.
But then what if your character has a monologue in a scene full of plot? How do you let an actor still deliver? Well, if we take a look at Christopher McQuarrie's Mission Impossible Fallout, well, you'll find a masterclass in editing. Honestly, this movie is a masterclass in all things filmmaking. But in the scene where Solomon Lane is captured by Ethan Hunt, there's a showdown between them in dialogue, and simultaneously they need to remove a tracker from his neck before all of Paris rains down on them. So instead of just simply playing out a tense sequence removing the tracker, McQuarrie gives Sean Harris a monologue confronting Tom Cruise's character with the harsh reality of his motivations.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it. I wonder even, did you ever choose not to? Did you ever stop and ask yourself who it was giving you the orders or why? While every day the master you serve moves one step closer to ending the world.
Strange accusation coming from a terrorist.
60 seconds.
Terrorists are schoolboys, desperate for attention, hoping to shape public opinion through fear. I don't care in the least what people think or feel. In my experience, they don't do either for very long.
See how much more impactful the minimal cuts are? We hold on Sean as he speaks. We're able to absorb what he's saying and study his face. We only cut away when another character says something or relays information about the tracker device. The gravity of the words are felt, and even in the reaction shots, they hold long enough to give just as much impact as the character that's speaking. Tom's facial expressions say everything here. It's not just coverage for the sake of coverage. I grew up in the 90s, which was absolutely the height of the cereal craze, and I ate it all the time. But it wasn't until I grew up that I realized just how full of sugar and junk most store-bought cereal is, which is why I love Magic Spoon. It's the cereal flavor and look you love without all the junk and sugar. A serving of Magic Spoon has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, 4 net grams of carbs, and it's only 140 calories. Sound too good to be true? Trust me, it's the real deal. I eat this stuff dry like a snack or old school like I'm 10 years old again on a Saturday morning. Oh, and it gets better. Magic Spoon is keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, and soy-free. So click the link in the description to grab a variety pack and try it today. Use the promo code Tomasso at checkout to get $5 off any order, or just go right to magicspoon.com/Tomasso. Thank you again to Magic Spoon for sponsoring this video. Back to Spider-Man. Not only do I think plot is a major issue for the cutaways, but I think a lot of it is coverage related as well. Oftentimes when editing, you will piece together scenes from multiple different takes to make the ideal scene that you want for your film. So in order to hide all these little cuts of continuity, you're gonna cut to a reaction shot or even a B-roll shot. I obviously can't be certain if Watts was just hiding cuts to Frankenstein scenes together, but the sheer volume of them sometimes makes me really question it as a deliberate creative decision. I just can't help but imagine how beautiful it would have been to see Andrew Garfield's performance on the rooftop really play out. Right as he lets his soul out and reveals the rage that he's unleashed since we last saw him in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, we just keep cutting back to Tom Holland. And the same thing happens with Tobey. These are characters we literally never thought we'd see again on screen, and Jon Watts just refuses to let them be on screen. Look, I understand this is Tom Holland's Peter Parker's story. It's not about Willem Dafoe, Garfield, or Maguire. But in a film full of cliche, on-the-nose fan service moments,
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
it would have been nice to deliver the fan service moments that actually mattered.
The hell?
Maybe I'm just carrying too much baggage from the Raimi films, but we really connected with the villains on a more personal level in those films. In fact, even non-monologue heavy scenes where it's just two characters simply speaking, frames still hold and we never really quickly cut around like modern films. I also realize attention spans have changed and we're glued to devices pumping content to us in shorter and shorter durations on loops, but we go to the movies for a different experience. Dramatic cinema doesn't have to be cut like a TikTok for us to feel moved. It's weird because I still think Jon Watts is obviously a competent and talented director, and even with all the faults of the editing I just mentioned, there's also a lot of imaginative and creative sequences in this film. In that scene we first mentioned when Norman turns into Green Goblin, there's this epic tracking shot as Peter's spidey sense kicks in and he's slowly narrowing in on who's causing this disturbance. It's a little glimpse of beautiful filmmaking that just gets immediately shattered by an overly complicated plot moment in the middle of a dramatic character moment.
The hell?
Now look, without speaking to these filmmakers, I can only assume that they want to make something great. I doubt anybody is intentionally trying to make something confusing or bad. But in the very specific case of big films like Marvel, you can also understand and sympathize with the frustrations that must arise for a filmmaker. Trying to shoehorn in big plot devices, universe tie-ins, and set pieces when sometimes you just want to make a small indie level drama has to be difficult. And I really don't envy that position. Which is why Spider-Man No Way Home will always hold a very special place in my heart. But I still just wish Jon Watts would simply hold the frame. So I hope you like this new essay. This was something that I saw pointed out in quite a few of the reviews of Spider-Man No Way Home, so I kind of want to just dive into why it was happening and how you could possibly apply it to your own storytelling and filmmaking to not make that same mistake. That being said, the blueprint already exists. We had Willem Dafoe in the Raimi films, and I just really wish Jon Watts would have pulled more from that as opposed to just complicating everything with all this side plot and just crap that takes away from a great performance from Willem Dafoe, Andrew Garfield, Tobey, all of them. I just hate that it was constantly cutting away from their faces and it refused to hold the frame. A little bit of channel housekeeping. So a lot of you originally subscribed to this channel because I did tech reviews and camera reviews and all that kind of stuff. And I'll still be doing camera and filmmaking stuff on this channel, as well as these new sort of movie essays and reviews. But if you're really focused in on the tech side of the things that I make, I'm gonna start putting those videos up on a new channel called Patrick Tomasso. So if you're into phones, tablets, displays, tech, all that kind of stuff, head over to Patrick Tomasso and subscribe. We already have a review of the new Apple Studio display up on that channel, and I'll have a Mac Studio video up this week as well. So subscribe to Patrick Tomasso, and here we'll keep this filmmaking, movie, all that kind of stuff related, and we'll have some fun. So if you have any questions about this video, this essay, editing, all that kind of stuff, Spider-Man No Way Home, please let me know in the comments. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Patrick Tomasso, and you will see or hear me next time I feel like making a video. Cheers.